Good evening.
Good evening.
Last week we discussed how to troubleshoot and maintain the computer, and there are troubleshooting means we are going to find solution how to correct some errors in the computer. කම්පියුටර් එකේ මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තිබුණොත් කොහොමද ඒවා අපි හරි ගස්සගන්නේ? ඒක තමයි troubleshooting කියලා කියන්නේ. So there are two kinds of problems in computer. One is
Hardware related problem,
and software related problems.
software related problem.
Yes. When we consider software related problems, there are two types. One is application software related and operating system.
Operating.
Yes. Right. Then we discussed and learned about the some kind of ports of the computer. Ports means so when we connect devices to the computer, we use certain ports. Computer එකට අපි devices connect කරනකොට අපි ports use කරනවා. So we discussed these ports නේද Netuli?
Yes, sir.
Right. So these are important to remember. This is PS2 port. This is for to connect keyboard and mouse. So nowadays this is not using because of the advancement of technology. So instead of PS2 port, what we use these days? Now we don't use this port in new computers. There are no PS2 ports. Then how we connect? What ports we use to connect keyboard and mouse?
HDM.
No, we use USB port. USB. මෙන්න මේකට කියනවා USB port එකක් කියලා. This is a USB port. This right nowadays in computers there are some two or three or there are can be five these kind of ports. So we can connect keyboard and mouse with these ports. Not only keyboard and mouse, we can connect printers. We can connect uh, certain devices with these USB ports. Therefore, these ports are very popular these days. So we are not using these PS2 ports these days. Instead of PS2 port, we are using USB ports. You have to remember that. Right. So this is a VGA port. Normally, this port is used to connect computer to monitor. Right? Connect computer to monitor. Computer එක අපි monitor එකට සම්බන්ධ කරන්න මේ VGA port එක පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. Right? So this is for video output. From the computer, we can from computer screen we can see graphics නැත්නම් videos අපිට බලන්න පුළුවන් මේ VGA port එක නිසා. Right, then like the VGA port, this port is DVI port. The computer is having DVI port, right? And if the monitor also having DVI port, then we can connect computer through this DVI port. The quality of images is higher than VGA port, right? VGA port එකට වැඩිය සාමාන්‍ය quality එක වැඩි මේ DVI port එක හරහා computer එක monitor එකට සම්බන්ධ කරනකොට, right? VGN. So what is Nithuli VGA stands for? VGA කියලා අපි අදහස් කරන්නේ.
If there is no VGA port, we can't take the output. It
Yes,
is connected to monitor the
monitor.
system.
Yes. No, I mean, what is the meaning of VGA? Three letters. This is a short form. Ne? VGA means video graphic adapter. Video graphic adapter. So you can write down this one. අපි මේ ටික මේ කෝඩ්ස් ටික පොතේ ලියාගත්ත නේද?
Yes,
Right. Then you can write this as well. What is the meaning of this VGA? Video graphic adapter. Right. So then the meaning of DVI is DVI.
digital visual interface.
Right. Digital visual interface. This is also used to connect computer to monitor. Right. Then HDMI. HDMI also used to connect computer to from HDMI port we can connect to TV. For smart TV එකට අපි computer එක connect කරන්න පුළුවන්. There is a HDMI port. ඒතකොට we can only use these ports if there is only. කියනවා නම් විතර අපිට use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If there is a HDMI port in our computer, so then we can connect our computer to TV. Also, if monitor is having a HDMI port, we can connect monitor to this HDMI. So what is the meaning of HDMI? HDMI.
High definition multimedia interface.
Yes, good. High definition multimedia interface. Can you tell me uh, rather than VGA port and DVI? So these ports we used to get the output from the some kind of screen. What is the specialty of this HDMI port instead of this VGA and DVI?
We use HDMI port to connect television set instead of monitor.
Right, that's good.
This port can input and output both audio and video.
And right, that's the main point. So this can output both video and audio, right? This can output video and audio. That's the special. So we discussed about this USB port. This is RJ45O Ethernet port. So we use this port to connect to network or connect to internet. So this is eSATA port to connect external storage devices like hard disk. So there are eSATA port. eSATA port එක use කරනවා connect කරන්න hard disk වගේ දේවල්. External devices, storage devices. This is for audio output. We can, if you want to connect to a speaker, right? We should have this kind of audio ports. This is a display port, right? So we now discussed three types of display ports earlier. One is VGA, another one is DVI, another one is HDMI. There is another display port. This is also used to get the video output, right? So, but compared with the VGA and DVI, this quality is high, right? Quality is high, higher performance than DVGA and DVI. So there are four types: VGA, DVI, HDMI, display to get the video or audio output. But the HDMI port is only, it is the one only can output video and audio both. Remember that. This is parallel port. This was used to connect printers to computer. Nowadays, these ports are not using very much because we can connect printers through, we can connect through this USB port as well. So these days we don't use this port. This is micro USB to connect mobile phones, MP3 players like that, right? So when you connect some SD cards, so some laptops there are SD card reader. So when you are using camera, so camera there is a small chip. You can place a small chip inside the camera and you can store more data inside that chip. So you can remove that chip from the camera and you can plug this chip to your laptop. So then that data or pictures you can download to computer very easily. Therefore, SD card reader is very important, right? That is all about computer ports. There are some ports which is not here, but so up to now you should know these kind of ports. So this is what we have to learn, right? So now we are discussing hardware problems. So what are the kinds of hardware problems that can arise? So sometimes the computer does not function. Function means when we switch on, it is not working. When keyboard is not working, mouse is not working, monitor display is not working. Computer starts, but monitor display is not working. It will not display anything. So that's a hardware error. Speakers not working, network connection. There is a we cannot connect to a network. So then there will be a problem with that network connection. So those are some kind of uh, problems with hardware devices. So let's see what kind of problems that we can face, right? So problem one, the computer does not function when the power button is pressed. That is a problem, hardware issue. Even we switch on the button, computer does not work, right? So there are sort of solutions so that we can check these solutions, or we can, if it is not, these solutions are not working, we have to take that computer to computer technician, or we want to get the help of a computer technician to solve that problem. So to our knowledge, we can try these solutions if the computer not working once we switch on the computer. Let's see what are the solutions, right? So first solution is we can check whether cables are correctly plugged. So that means the power cable is properly plugged into the wall socket. So we have to check that. If it is properly connected and switch is on, we have to check whether switch is on, right? Then you can check whether when there are when we use a UPS, right? What is the uh, use of this UPS, Netuli? Why we use UPS? Any idea?
We use UPS to connect the computer.
Connects computer. Right. Okay. Let me tell you what is the advantage of having a UPS. Right. My pen is not working again. right? Let's say this is the computer. So normally computer keyboard and mouse is connected to the this what system unit. Then system unit is connected to the wall socket, right? So say this is the plug point. This is the plug point, right? This system unit is connected to this plug point, right? So without using a UPS, this is the normal way that we are using the computer. So this is the uh, wall plug. We connect computer directly to this wall socket, right? So what will happen if if the power of let's say in our houses power has gone while we are using the computer, we working in the computer, right? Suddenly mm, power supply interrupted. So then this power supply will not be longer there. Therefore, computer will suddenly off, right? So what will happen? Uh, the all work that we were doing will be suddenly damaged or we cannot recover those things. So when power is not there, so we are lose we will be lose those documents, or if we have not saved those things, those data will be lost if there is a sudden power failure. So there is another thing. If suddenly power goes, it will damage to our hardware equipments as well. So normally in the system unit there is a hard disk inside this, right? This is the system unit, right? This is system unit. Mains of power supply. This can be our home power supply, right? So then if there is a sudden power failure, suddenly these all the things, all the hardware devices that is working, it suddenly stops. It will damage to our hardware as well if there is a sudden power failure, right? So therefore, as a solution, now we can use a UPS, right? We can use a UPS instead of directly give the power to the system unit through main power supply. So in between we can use what? In between we can use UPS, right? This is the UPS. right? So what is UPS stands for is uninterrupted power supply. Uninterrupted means without any interruption, we can get the power to the system unit and the computer, right? So that's the meaning of UPS. So that is right. So there is in between computer and the main power supply, there is a UPS. That means uninterrupted power supply. This UPS is connected to the main power supply, not the computer cable. So computer cable, the cable of the system unit is connected to this UPS, right? What is the use of this UPS is once we are working with this UPS, it is connected to the main power supply. While we are using the computer, it will charge in that battery. There is a battery inside the UPS. While we are using the computer, it will charge this UPS. So when there is a sudden power failure, what will happen is, right? Let's say there is a sudden power failure. Power is no more, right? Then what will happen? Power is no more. Power interrupted. Then what will happen? The our computer is not going to suddenly off because so this UPS will give power to our system unit and the monitor, right? Then so it will do the power. It will give the power to our system unit and monitor while the battery charge is drained. Battery charge එක අඩු වෙනකන් නැත්නම් ඉවර වෙනකන් එයා අපිට current එක දෙනවා. That's the meaning of uninterrupted power supply. So computer uh, once the main supply is not there, so this will give the power supply to computer, right? So then the computer is not going to suddenly off. Then our computer hardware and all the equipments are safe, right? So even the main power supply is suddenly gone or suddenly off, so it will not damage to our computer, and we can save our documents and we can properly shut down our computer as well. So this power supply will remain something like 20 minutes or half an hour. Sometimes this depends according to the capacity of this power supply. සමහර power supply තියෙනවා සමහරට දවසක් තියාගන්නත් පුළුවන් battery power එකෙන්. ඒක capacity එක අනුව depends වෙනවා. Right? Therefore, uh, this is very useful to have in a any kind of computer, not for laptops. So in laptops, there is a power supply inside there. There's a battery charge. Therefore, so it is not required for laptops. This is uh, very, very important for desktop computers. Uninterrupted power supply. Right? Got the idea, Anatoli?
Yes, sir.
This is computer. If you want, you can take this thing, then you can remember what is the use of this power supply, UPS, uninterrupted power supply.
Okay,
Right. Right. So then, as I said, if there is a power supply, so you can check whether the cables to power supply is properly connected, right? So those points are very important. If the computer is not working, we have to check whether the cables are properly connected to the computer, connected to the computer and main power ports, right? Right. Then you have to check even the computer is switch on. So when the uh, computer is not working means let's see that the computer display is not working. Then you have to check whether computer display cables are properly connected, like VGA ports, VGA cables are properly connected, right? So then all when all these cables are properly connected, we can check again by switching on the computer whether it is working, right? So these steps are so first one is we if there is a power supply, we can check whether cables are properly connected to the power supply. If it is from the direct main power supply, we can check whether cables are properly connected to the main power supply. So then we can switch and see whether computer is working properly. So even the computer is not working, even the ports and the cables are properly connected, so it is not working, then there may be some issue. So we cannot troubleshoot ourselves. අපිට මේක troubleshoot කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. Therefore, you should consult a technician for their assistance. Or we want to bring the computer to computer technician to solve that problem, right? Right. The next problem is the keyboard or mouse does not function. First one is our computer is not functioning. Second one is the keyboard and mouse not functioning. So when keyboard and mouse is not functioning, so as a solution, we can restart the computer by pressing the restart button of our system unit. Sometimes even computer is started, keyboard and mouse is not working. So we cannot find any problem there. Therefore, we can restart our computer, right? So even when the computer is restarted, so in some computers there is a restart button, then we can restart the computer from that button. Even the computer is not restarted, so then we can check for another solution, that is shut down our computer, right? Then we have to check whether mouse and keyboards are properly connected to respective ports. If there is PS2 ports, we can uh, or if it is a PS2 mouse and keyboard, we can connect that PS2 mouse and keyboard to computers PS2 ports. Otherwise, we can connect mouse and keyboards through USB ports. So then we can check whether mouse and keyboard are properly connected. We can remove the cables and we can connect that cables again. Then we can check whether this problem is solved. When it is when we do this, if it is working, that's all right? If it is not working, keyboard or mouse, that can be a problem of keyboard and mouse, right? We have to replace. If the problem exists further, we can replace this mouse or keyboard with a new one, right? So normally, when there is a issue in keyboard or mouse, normally that is the fault of keyboard and mouse. So we have to sometimes replace that one. We have to buy a new one, right? So before buying a new one, we can check those solutions. Problem 3, the monitor does not function, right? What is the solution? Check whether the power button of the monitor is switch on. If not switch on, if it does not work yet, perform the following steps. So we have to first of all, we can check whether the power button of the monitor is switch on. So if it is switch on, so next step is we can check by restarting the computer, right? So when computer restarted, the monitor should work, right? Monitor should work. Otherwise, there can be another problem, right? That is, so we can check uh, for the cables that is coming from the computer to monitor. So we have to check whether cables are properly connected. So we discuss certain cables that is going the output to the monitor, that is VGA port, DVI port, and HDMI, and there is a display port as well. So we can check whether the ports are properly connected to the cables, right? So if it is not working, right? So we can connect uh, power cable or power supply to monitor. So there may be some problems with power cables. So when we change the power cable, sometimes it works. So those things also we can check, right? Right. If the cables are okay, so we have to confirm whether cables are okay by uh, plugging these cables to another monitor. If that monitor is working, it is the problem with monitor, not with the cable. If that computer, that monitor is not working as well, then certainly there will be a problem in monitor cable, power supply, right? These are some kind of general things that we face in day-to-day life, right? So we can do these kind of things to troubleshoot our computer by ourselves. Otherwise, we have to contact the technician to solve that problem, right? So then another problem, faulty speakers mean speaker is not working, right? Then we can check whether the sounds control, volume control, and all the things are working properly by adjusting the sound volume level, right? Then uh, in our computer there is a sound bar, right? So I'll show you. In this computer, here you can see the volume control, volume speaker. This is displaying speaker. So you can click this one. So you can check whether this volume level is high, or if this is zero, or if there is uh, no sounds. So your uh, speaker will not give any output, or you can hear, you can't hear anything. So you can control or increase the volume level like this, right? You can check that as well, right? Then, so you can check whether the cables are properly connected to these kind of ports. So these ports are back sides of your system unit. So there are certain ports you can see. So this is to connect the microphone. This is to connect some speaker, right? Uh, this is to connect headphone, right? Like that, there are certain ports in your computer the backside of system unit. So you can check whether the cables are properly connected. So like this, these cables are properly connected. You have to check whether cables are properly connected, right? Then you have to check whether, so some speakers require power supply, separate power supply, right? Therefore, you have to check whether the speaker is connected to proper power supply. If the cable is not supplied, not connected to the power, your mouse, sorry, your speaker is not working, right? Then you can again restart the computer and check whether now your speakers are working or audio is audible. You can hear. So those days there are for some speakers you have to install sound drivers. right? So normally these days, when we connect some device, it will automatically install their drivers. Therefore, we should not install those drivers properly. So we have to check whether the drivers are working in this computer, right? As previous, if these all the steps are not working, so we have to consult a who technician to solve that problem, right? Then, if there's a network connection failure, what we should do? So we can check whether the cables are properly connected. So this is a network port, network connector. So the network connector should properly connect to network port or RJ45 port or Ethernet port. We call these names for network port, RJ45 Ethernet port, right? So we can, if the even the computer cables are properly connected, so even the cables are connected, still network connection is not working. Then we can see, so there is a computer mark in our taskbar in this area. It will display this monitor, right? This monitor will show there is a network, right? So then we right click this icon, so we can display this troubleshoot problems. So if we click this one, we can automatically, right? Automatically troubleshoot our computer network, right? So let's see if there is, right here you can see here in my computer, it is displaying like this, diagnose network of problems. So when we click this one, it will automatically check some errors in our computer. It will check whether, so recorrectable error from the computer by itself, it will check, right? So that's option also we can try out, right? Sometimes even all these things are okay, so we cannot connect to network because we have not administrator power. That means we have to get permission from other uh, instructor or teacher, right? So so there are some restrictions. They have not allowed us to connect to internet or network. So therefore we have to get permission from them to connect to the network. So that option is also there, right? These are some hardware related problems, right? And we can do these kind of solutions to troubleshoot our computer, right? Up to now, any questions, Nituli?
No, sir.
Right. So this is no point of having to taking this down because there are a lot to write, right? I think you have got the idea. So again, read these problems and suggested solutions for these problems. Then you can get more idea about this. So what is the area that is going in your school, Natali?
We have covered all the syllabus.
Covered
This syllabus.
whole syllabus?
Yes, sir. That means for first term.
Ah, first term syllabus.
Yes, sir.
Right. When
April
you are
1st, we are exam is starting. April
Ah,
1st.
up to which point you have done?
We have covered up to second lesson.
Not started ne word processing?
No, sir.
All right. Right. What is your school, Netuli?
Nigamba South International School.
Ah, right, right. Gambuso, right. Right. Then we have to discuss these software related problems, and after that, this lesson will be over. Right. So today I am going to stop a little bit earlier because uh, there's a small thing to do. Right. Okay. So after that, we can discuss then some questions, and you can prepare for the exam as well.
Okay.
April first week, neither. So then,
Yes, sir.
okay, when you have time, right? Okay. Uh, right, Netuli. If you have any questions, you can ask now.
No, sir.
Right. Okay. Then we'll meet on next Tuesday. Right. Then I can cover this second lesson as well. Then after that, we can discuss some questions by lesson one and two. Right. Then you can. It will be benefit for your exam as well. Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. Then good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Okay.